Hello, welcome to another episode of Arthritis and You, a Joint Journey. Today, we've got something special lined up, so buckle up because it's time for the deep dive. Let's give a warm welcome to our hosts, Arthur and Sarah.
Welcome back to our latest deep dive. You've probably got apple cider vinegar, ACV, in your kitchen.
Oh, absolutely. It's a classic pantry staple.
Yeah, but it's also exploded in terms of health claims. People talk about it for digestion, skin, even joint pain.
It really has gained that reputation as a kind of cure-all.
Exactly. So today, our mission is to, cut through some of that noise. We want to see what the actual science says about these medicinal uses, especially for things like osteoarthritis, and importantly, is it safe?
Mm-hmm. And I think listeners might be a bit surprised by the gap between the hype and the hard data.
Okay, so let's unpack this a bit. ACV itself, it's pretty simple, right? Just fermented apples, used in cooking for ages.
Correct. Simple fermentation process. But these health benefit claims, they're more recent, relatively speaking.
So where has the research actually focused? When scientists study ACV for health, what are they looking at? And what about those persistent claims for joint issues, like rheumatic conditions?
Well, interestingly, most of the research that does exist has really zeroed in on its potential effects on blood sugar. Diabetes management, basically.
Okay. Blood sugar.
Yeah, some studies suggest it might help sort of blunt the glucose spike after a meal, particularly in people with diabetes.
Right.
But here's the really striking part. Despite how often you hear people, maybe even friends or family, using it for osteoarthritis.
Yeah.
There are literally no studies published that specifically look at ACV for rheumatic conditions. None.
Wow. Okay. No studies at all for arthritis or similar issues.
Not specifically designed to test that, no.
Mm-hmm.
And what's more, there isn't even a clearly understood mechanism. Like, how would it physiologically work on joints to reduce pain or inflammation?
Mm-hmm.
The science just isn't there to back up those particular claims.
That's pretty significant, especially given its popularity for exactly that purpose. It really sounds like a disconnect between, popular use and the actual scientific investigation.
Well, a major disconnect, yeah.
Which brings us straight to the next critical point. Safety. If the effectiveness for some common uses is questionable, what about using it generally? Is it safe? We hear different things.
That's a really important question.
Yeah.
So short-term use, and studies that usually means like up to a week or so.
Okay.
That generally seems okay for most people. Doesn't seem to cause major issues in that time frame.
That I sense a but coming.
Yes. But the concern is more around long-term consistent use. There was a pretty concerning case report, for instance.
Oh,
It
wow.
involved someone who used ACV daily for 6 years. 6 years is a long time.
Yeah, definitely.
And they developed some serious problems. Low potassium levels, which is, really important for heart rhythm and muscle function.
Crucial.
High renin levels, which connects to blood pressure control. And even osteoporosis, so weakened bones.
Osteoporosis from vinegar.
That's what the case report linked it to. It strongly suggests we really, really need more research on the effects of using it for months or years. We just don't have a clear picture of long-term safety.
That low potassium risk over the long haul sounds particularly worrying. So this immediately makes me think, how does ACV interact with medications? If it can lower blood sugar or affect potassium, what does that mean if you're already taking something?
Yeah, this is absolutely key for anyone considering using it regularly, especially if you have other health conditions.
No.
So number one, because it can lower blood sugar, if
Okay.
you're on diabetes medications, insulin, metformin, whatever, you have to be extra careful. Monitor your blood sugar really closely to make sure it doesn't drop too low, which is hypoglycemia.
Okay, so vigilance is critical there.
Definitely. And then there's the potassium issue we just talked about.
Mm-hmm.
If you use ACV long-term and your potassium drops, it could potentially amplify the side effects of certain heart medications like digoxin.
Oh.
Or think about common diuretics, water pills like furosemide or hydrochlorothiazide. Many of those already make you lose potassium. Adding ACV long-term could make that problem worse.
So potential double whammy on potassium.
Exactly. So in those cases, you'd either need to avoid the combination altogether or work very closely with your doctor to monitor your potassium levels extremely carefully. So while ACV might offer a tiny bit of help with blood sugar control, you absolutely need that vigilance and awareness of interactions.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. Pulling all these threads together, it seems crystal clear that despite what you might read online or hear anecdotally, for conditions like osteoarthritis, The scientific evidence for ACV just isn't there. It's absent.
Simply not there.
And maybe even more crucial, using it long-term isn't necessarily benign. There are documented risks, like low potassium, and potentially serious interactions with common medications that you really need to know about.
Absolutely. And if we zoom out for a second, this whole ACV discussion really underscores the importance of relying on evidence-based information, doesn't it?
It really does.
Especially when it comes to things we put in our bodies for health reasons. Always talk to your doctor. Talk to your pharmacist before you start taking a new supplement or make a big dietary change like adding ACV regularly.
Couldn't agree more. You know, a deep dive like this, it really makes you stop and think, doesn't it? How many other common everyday remedies are we maybe using based on tradition or hearsay without really solid science to back them up?
That's a great point. It definitely invites some critical thinking about other popular health trends.
Definitely something for all of us to chew on.
This has been another episode of Arthritis and You, A Joint Journey, brought to you by the Rheum team from albertarheumatology.com, your trusted evidence-based suite of resources available 24/7. Straight from Alberta, but for folks around the world. Our hosts today, Arthritis and Sarah Upis, technical producer, John Ifun, and our executive producer, Stephen Cates. While we work hard to maintain the accuracy of our information, we accept no legal responsibility for any errors or omissions. Remember, always check with your own physician first. Join us next time for another Deep Dive.